Записываю.
We have our meeting in MBA Society, and today I want to introduce our guest. It is Darina Zotova. It's PR Communicative Manager and Ambassador Manager, global platform from Silicon Valley, from US. This is StudyFree. Hello, Darina. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me for your MBA Society Club.
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, about your position, about your work in this company? Because your company is growing very fast.
Yeah, sure. So personally, I'm a StudyFree Ambassador Manager and also PR and Communication Manager at StudyFree. So I'm responsible for work with the different media channels, with influencers, and also with ambassadors. So at StudyFree, we help students study abroad for free with the help of grants and scholarships, and also we connect students with educational opportunities abroad in an affordable way. Now our platform has more than 34,000 students from 108 countries. So now they're applying to universities abroad, trying to fulfill their educational dream.
What kind of business do you do? It's educational business, global platform, people from around the world can business, your service?
It's an edtech platform, so it's a global platform that has more than 19,000 programs with grants and scholarships, exam preparation materials, community of mentors, also different video guides on how to apply abroad. So all necessary information that can help students fulfill their education dream abroad, go through the whole application stages with our help. So we have several packages that can help students study abroad. It can be an access to the database of scholarships and grants. It can be a full access that includes exam preparation materials and other necessary documents that can help students study abroad. And also it's a personal mentor package, which includes a personal mentor who can help students throughout all application stages. So from verifying documents to evaluating chances and then to applying to their dream university. Yeah, so now we are expanding into six foreign markets, including South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, Brazil, India, and the United States of America. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah,
If I
sure.
may. As I understand, your business goal is to support students and make the education more available, free education, and spread it around everyone. What's the okay? That's your goal. What's the main moral values it stands on? Why that specific business you chose for yourself, and why the company does it?
So I think that our business is very personal and it's very honest because it's based on our personal experience. So I think, as you know, our CEO and founder, Dasha, she started her journey of winning by herself over 100,000 grants and scholarships. She studied in 3 different countries, in Spain, in China, in the United States. And so the business idea came from her personal experience. And what's more, our team, so some colleagues from our team, they also studied abroad with grants and scholarships. That's why our business is very personal. We lived this experience by ourselves, and that's why we want to make education available for everyone in the world. I think that we really break some barriers and prejudices. For instance, a lot of people think that studying abroad with scholarships is unreal, so it's impossible. And we break these stereotypes and prove that education is I think that it is the strongest instrument that can break any barrier and that can help students fulfill their dreams. So they can upgrade their career journey so they can become competent specialists. So I think that the main mission is to prove that education is the strongest instrument. And more than that, it's very personal. And what is more, we are really student-centric. Yeah, because students are our main focus. Yeah.
Just one more question. Do you work as accelerator as well, such as that you help the students to provide them education and then you monitor how they grow, for example, like into something bigger?
I think that it's something what we strive for. For instance, now we're building an ecosystem of partners, of communities. For instance, now we're trying to have partnerships with companies like language companies that help students enhance their language knowledge, or it can be companies that provide some, I don't know, like professional experience, so like internships and so on. So we're trying to build an ecosystem of partnerships that will help students throughout not only their educational journeys, but also throughout their professional journeys.
Okay.
Yes, so we try on different stages, like relocation, then making their first career steps, and so on.
All right, nice. Anna, you muted.
Hello guys, sorry. Today our conversation will be about cross-cultural communication, and I want to ask you my first question. Daria, you have experienced this, you told right now that you communicate these 6 countries. How is it possible? What do you think? Can the political situation and different factors influence in the negotiation process? What do you think? Maybe
So
legislation?
I think that in our crowded concrete world where rapid changes are going every day, some political factors or economical factors, for instance, can influence the negotiation process. However, the main thing that can help us to overcome these barriers is transparent communication and also understanding how we can overcome these barriers through different factors. It can be breaking some prejudices, for instance, about other countries, like, some when we negotiate with some American companies in the early beginning, in the beginning of our startup, we have some prejudices about that we are like a Russian startup, we have Russian roots, it can prevent us from entering the new markets and so on. However, I think we were really persistent to prove that we can break any barriers, even some political barriers, because not about some political changes, we're more about some students' fates and how we can help them. We have the global mission, and that's why we're really global startup, and our mission, that's we're a global company that helps students all over the world, helped us to overcome these barriers. That's why I think that yes, there can be some barriers, but it's very important to know how we can overcome this and how we can prove that these barriers will not prevent us from growth, scaling, and developing.
Very interesting. How do you find global culture, and can you tell me some information, some recommendation how to negotiate globally, global scale?
Yeah, I think that it's very important. Sorry, I think that I hear some noises.
Anna, when you
Sorry, is it better? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think that it's some noise again. Sorry. I think it became worse.
Anna, I think that's your microphone, your computer.
Maybe you can turn on mute, so for my answer, and then you can unmute yourself. Okay.
Anna, try to mute and unmute yourself again.
Okay, so yeah. Oh, now it's better. Thank you so much. Yes. So how to negotiate on global scale? Yeah. Okay. I think it's very important to be as open as possible. So you should be open to new opportunities. They should be open to new partnerships. You should be open to really controversial and some ambiguous situations. And I think that openness is the key to negotiate at the global scale, because when you when you're not open to new opportunities, when you don't understand the culture of other country or something like this, it really prevents you from achieving your global goals. That's why I think that openness is the key. It's the one factor that we prove throughout our business journey.
I have another question to add onto this. How are you being open? Because when you meet all other people from other countries,
I think it's more about my mentality, because you should possess really great interpersonal skills and communication skills. So, I'm an extrovert, yes. So I really like communication. I really like meeting new people, exchanging some experience, international. I'm really fond of doing this. That's why I'm PR and communication manager, because I love communicate, and that's why I'm here. Yes,
Okay.
so I think that openness is the key, but you should also possess communication skills.
All right. And how to develop those fundamental communication skills for completely overbroad global community? Because what's the key dogma or stigma you can transfer or change in anyone's mentality to be more open for receiving the communication? Because everyone loves talking, everyone loves chatting and get connected with one another, but people have, as you said, barriers which education erases. What's the fundamental key of all education you went through, which helps you to which helped you to transform yourself into an open extrovert?
Okay, you know that I think that every person should try to unlock their communication skills, because okay, I will try to come up with a clear answer that will help us understand the topic better. I think that every person has communication skills. However, the level of that communication skills can really vary from person to person. And the key is to communicate as much as possible, as we know that practice makes perfect. And that's why it's very important just to leave your comfort zone, try communicating, try to transfer in your ideas. And it's very important not to be afraid of doing this, because, when I started my career journey, so I was a student, I was a freshman, and that's why I was afraid that my thoughts can be really ambiguous, that I'm not a professional, I'm not an expert. And now I also understand that I'm not an expert, because I'm also starting my career journey. However, because I communicate a lot with different people, I understand that you shouldn't be afraid of being awkward or maybe transferring some crazy things, because it's your point of view, and just be confident in what you're saying and just communicate. And then I think you will achieve really high results within your communication path. Yeah.
Nice. That moves us to the next question. You said not to be afraid to communicate your point of view. Sometimes people are afraid to do so because it creates conflict. It creates some tension between parties who discuss different points of view. Of course, open to communication is to not be fearful of it and to deliver the point of view. But what do you do, like personally, as a PR manager? You communicate a lot, and probably people have some disagreement, which conflict basically raises conflict. How do you deal with such examples of conflict situations?
Luckily, I don't have a lot of complex situation. However, as I'm responsible for StudyFree Ambassador program, of course, we have some, I think, like culture shock, for instance, or some language barriers that can create some conflicts. And in this case, I think that it's very important to identify this problem. So to see that, we have some problem, we have the conflict. However, it's very important not to lose your temper and and not to lose your temper, and just solve the issue as soon as possible. And it's very important to be also a kind person, a person with precise attention to the details, to understand the personality, to understand the person's character. Of course, not every person possesses such ability, but I think that personally I have this ability, I have empathy, and that's why when I see that some challenge may occur, I try to solve it as soon as possible through transparent communication without losing my temper.
All right, that's amazing approach to the relationship. Okay, Anna, would you like to?
My questions about global culture. For example, now I'm writing my dissertation about cross-culture communication, and I read a lot of books about punctuality. For example, Arab country always late, Italian very emotional, Chinese people never say no. always Japanese always smile. If don't agree with you, always smiling, and you never understand what people thinking. Nigeria completely different. Africa very emotional. And the main questions: how you prepare for negotiations before your conversation, before your meeting. Should you research information about culture, punctuality, collectivism, individualism, about emotional type of country? It's very interesting.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the question. I think it's really. Can you please mute yourself during my answer because I hear some news background? Thank you so much. Yeah, so yeah, it's a question. It's a very topical issue because every person asks us how we managed to enter 6 markets in 3 months. And usually the key is to really conduct profound research on our country. And for instance, when we were planning to enter African countries, Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya, we didn't only analyze the country, analyze some statistics within not only the market itself, but also within the culture and so on. I think that we had about 3 or 4 workshops with different people from these countries, so from some specialists within communication fields that told us about cultural differences. Sorry.
Sound problems.
No. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So we talked with specialists, with local specialists from these countries who told us about cultural differences, who told us about the prejudices and also about some expectations. So what should we expect from these people? And this was really helpful because it helped us to understand how to be prepared for the negotiations, how to communicate with these people, and how to be ready for some unexpected issues as well. Yes, so it's very important to do profound research that will help you to identify the core issues and the core values of this country, and also to be as open as possible to these issues because it was our mission to enter these countries, and that's why we were open to these peculiarities as well.
But how you can find a local firm or local people who can train you? How is it possible?
I think our team was really lucky because our CEO and founder possesses really great networking abilities, and that's why when she shared the news on Facebook, like, "Hey guys, do you know some local people from Nigeria or South Africa?" And I think that the word of mouth helped us to find the right person who really helped us to understand their culture better.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing advice you give me right now because it's very important if somebody shares this, you not from books, not from articles, your experience. Darina, what do you think? Is it impossible? It is impossible to. It's important to build a long relationship with your partner, or you should focus only for money for this deal, and you should focus only for your profit, but more important, build a long relationship with partners in different businesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. So I think that, of course, it's very important to focus on long-term relationship because, for instance, I will tell you about our experience. So how we do it at StudyFree, we never aim at some money and profitable values. Of course, it's our priority as well. However, we focus on long-lasting relationship because we understand that if we push ourselves a little bit, we manage to build long-lasting relationships that will help us to be long-lasting partners and then receive the profit and some revenue in the long term. But what's more, we also manage to have good relationship with these with their CEOs, with their business development managers, and also this relationship will help us to build trust, to raise brand awareness, and as a result, receive profit. Yeah. So.
During your negotiations, do you have like a sort of plan, like a goal where you want to be, which you want to achieve and meet, maybe
yeah,
like
sure.
halfway? And if it doesn't work out, do you have any like plan B, plan C?
Oh, yeah, no, it's a really good question because when we negotiate with different partners, we try to create some presentation. So what we have and what prospects we can have with these or those partners here. So and during this presentation, we talk more about our mission. So we don't come up with some marketing plan or with some like, in 2 years we will increase our revenue in 2 times. No, we're talking about the value. So how we can combine our efforts to make an impact in this country. And it's not because we're trying to look like, yeah, we care, but because we really care and because we really try to help people. And that's why we understand that if we manage to build long-lasting relationship with this company, we really can make an impact in this country and we can make an impact worldwide. And of course, sometimes some negotiations can turn out to be not really good as we expected. And in this case, we try to receive the feedback from the company and understand why they make such decisions and so on. And then we just give them time to think about our partnership. Maybe we just stop our negotiations and give the company maybe 2-3 months to think about, maybe to forget about our company, and then we can come back to them with a new plan, with new ideas, and I think that in this case they can rethink and maybe also offer us some great examples of our future collaboration. However, I should mention that luckily all our partnerships are in the process of agreements, and that's why we don't have such experience. However, it's our plan B.
Okay. Out of all your partnerships, what in a percentage way, do you usually start the negotiation, or do you more often receive the offer to start the negotiations?
As we are entering the new markets, usually we offer some partnership. However, when we started to build trust within different markets, so we started to raise brand awareness, some companies even started emailing us with their offerings, and with their ideas how we can collaborate.
Okay.
Very interesting. What is the difference between face-to-face negotiation and online negotiation, Darina? I know that you work in global platform and all your service, I think, online. And how will the negotiation process change after the pandemic? And what are the advantages or disadvantages on this online process? What do you think?
Okay, so I will start from the first question. So what's the difference between online and offline communication? Yeah, so since the day one, we are working remotely. Yes, so that's why we never had some face-to-face partnerships agreements and so on. However, I believe that during online communication, it also contains some advantages, face-to-face communication, because you can see how a person behaves, some gestures, some emotions. So some body language can help you to understand how to build communication with person later. But as for online communication, I think you don't spend your time on some road to the meeting. Also, you can save your time. You can save your time, and also I think that there is no strict difference for our company because we're working online, as already said, since the day one, and online communication is our winning formula to communicate with different people and to build partnership. And that I think that maybe as for changes that we can predict, for instance, at StudyFree, we think that the main change can be that everything will go online, because it's more convenient. Of course, there are some challenges like internet breakdowns or something like this, but in general, I think people and companies will find online communication more efficient.
Nice. Next one I want to ask about your colleagues. When you enter the negotiation, obviously we all have different cultures, backgrounds, roots, and the way we communicate. For example, I use a lot of mimics. I use a lot of gestures, and obviously online it's not really effective. However, for example, if I would be in Georgia, or Caucasia, it would be more, it would have more weight and value if I would be loud, explicit, expressive. If I would be in Japan, it would be more appropriate with a straight back, direct communication. What criteria do you allow yourself to like spread yourself in adaptive communication when you have, for example, let's as an example, a loud Georgian proud man communicating with you? Would you allow yourself to adapt his communicative style, or would you stay strong on your communicative style? And how these different communicative styles try to find the same approach?
Yes, it's very interesting question. So, in our case, when we communicate with some local people who help us to understand the culture of another country better, we also ask about different communication styles that this person can possess. And more than that, when we scheduling a call with some partners, we are trying to understand which person will hold this meeting. Then we try to find some information in his or her LinkedIn account, maybe on Facebook, and then we are trying to understand how to communicate properly. And we also ask some information about gestures, about some gestures and so on. So how to define them in different cultures, because you know that, for instance, these can be defined differently in another country. Yeah. So in this case, we also ask these things, and when we understand that some person is really very very communicative, so very explosive even, so we're trying to adapt to this style a little bit, not to be foolish, but to be but trying to adapt to this style of communication to be on the same wavelength. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good word, wavelength.
Darina, how is important nonverbal communication? I think it's not working with you because you always work in online negotiations, yes? But maybe if you have experience in global scale, nonverbal communication, it's more than 70%. How you can read this and how is important?
Okay, so how can we read this online or just during face-to-face communication?
If you have face-to-face, but I think that your work in StudyFree, it's 100% online, yes?
Yeah.
That is why you can understand nonverbal. It's very, very difficult to understand. If you're sitting like me, I'm not emotional now, but I'm an emotional person. I'm not not loudly to speak with you. Okay, how do you overcome the language problem? Do you have a problem, for example, if dialect in India and Nigeria? Do you have a special person in your StudyFree firm? Or how about, tell a little bit us about this problem, this language problem?
Okay, so I will start with nonverbal language. Yes, so what's about body language? You know that we also can see how a person reacts. We can see what person can show to us. For instance, yes, I'm also trying to perform some body language activities. Yeah, and of course it's harder than it's harder online than during face-to-face communication. However, we can also we can be very attentive and we can be really precise during online communication. And of course, we understand, for instance, through the tone of voice, how a person reacts, what person thinks, and so on. So I think that, of course, we can't see some clear gestures, but we can see emotions and we can hear his voice. So I think it's the core elements that help us to understand what person thinks. And as for some language barriers, yeah, we can face some language barriers as during our own best as well as during some negotiations with partners. However, in this case, we usually try to learn a little bit Indian English or Nigerian English, and we also have country managers in every country that participate in our negotiation process, and then can help us to find the way out in these situations. More than that, we can ask person to write something in the chat box, would help us to understand what he or she is trying to say here. So country managers and chat box are our friends during some negotiation process.
A very, very interesting approach. If you have chatbot, you can prepare.
Chatbox.
What is it?
For instance, we have chat there on Teams, and if I don't understand something clearly, I can write you here,
in Teams.
Yeah, in Teams or in Zoom, so I can write you something that I don't clearly understand. For instance, when I have some calls with our ambassadors from India or from Brazil, some of Brazilian ambassadors don't have really good command of English, and that's why I can give them time to translate some words or something like this, and then they can write something in the chat box, and it will help us to organize the communication better. And what's more, we also have country managers, so it's person who works, it's a local person who works in Nigeria, for instance, or in Brazil, and this person helps us to adapt the communication here. So these country managers really help us to understand some language barriers as well.
It's really cool. I need to find local people, and talk with these local people before I'm going to negotiation. I have one situation, my negotiation experience more than 15 years. I was head of legal department in bank, and I have situation that after a few rounds negotiations, my partner told me, last words will be from my boss. How to prevent this situation in advance? Do you have some recommendation for us?
So can I also ask you a question? Do you think that if a person talks the last question, the last answer will be from my boss is really bad? I don't think so, because you know that sometimes, in this case, we ask to organize a call with the boss. Yes, so with the CEO and founder, and sometimes it really works better. And in this case, we can also say, so you can invite your boss, and we will invite our boss, and it really works great. So I think sometimes it can help us to build even better communication. So I think we should turn this phrase into something great, and so we should find the way out. Yeah.
Okay.
Darina, I think that you are a very big professional in cross-cultural communication. What is your favorite strategy? My favorite strategy, it is win-win. I don't understand people who play win-lose. What is your favorite strategy?
Personally, I'm for win-win, and all our colleagues advocate win-win strategy, because I think that only this strategy can help to build long-lasting relationship and also bring some profit in the future.
Have you ever used the win-lose?
No, never.
Never. Do you not approve it at all? Do you not think that victory at all costs has even like a locomotive, like a train?
No. You know, I think that it is based on the values of our business. So as I already said, we are very personal business, so we really try to make an impact. It's not only like big words, we're trying to make an impact. So yeah, we are really trying to make an impact, and we make this impact. And that's why for us it's very important not only to win this relationship, but to prove that together we can make an impact together with this person, with this company, with these ambassadors. So we are all about impact and changes that we can make.
Okay, then what if the scenario would require you to have a communication with someone or some party or someone who is completely against your activity and puts the barriers, puts these walls of rejection, and really puts the sticks in the wheel? Is it still win-win, or is it bye-bye, we'll try another time? Or
I think that it's always bye-bye, because if this company doesn't align with our values, So we will never try to build relationship with such companies, because if they're trying to mislead us, or they're trying to prevent us from realizing our global goal, so I think that we shouldn't try to build connection with these companies, because they don't correspond to our values. So why should we try to adapt to their rules?
Okay, so to summarize this, not to waste any energy on opposition.
Yeah, sure. We are trying to direct our energy only to the prosperous field.
Okay, that's nice. Answers my question.
Can I ask you? Yes, Ilya?
Yeah, go.
Very interesting conversation. Darina, can you give me a recommendation for successful negotiations? Maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe something very important for my future.
Okay, so I think that I'm not a super professional maybe to give some recommendation. However, from a personal experience, I can say that first of all, try to analyze the company you're going to negotiate with, so maybe try to find some information about the person you're going to negotiate with. So it will help you to understand how to build the communication and what strategy to choose to communicate with the person. Then, after you did some research within the person or the company, try to come up with the best strategies that can work, and also try to create different plans, for instance, like plan A, plan B, or plan C. Luckily, I didn't come up with some plan B, because plan A really worked. However, you should be really prepared for some unavoidable changes that can happen during the conversation. Then I think that when you created the plan, it's very important to it's very important maybe to visualize your strategy, and maybe it's very great to prepare the presentation where you can highlight the main points of the conversation. So you will have the strict plan that can help you to be really precise, and I think not to spend a lot of time on some unnecessary things that can happen during the dialogue. And then my favorite advice that our CEO and founder gave to me: be open. Yes, so it's her advice, and I try to follow it through my conversations with different people, whether it is companies or ambassadors.
Just one more last question.
Oh, sure.
These moments, this rush moment before you enter the stage, enter the room, like, for example, you're building yourself up for that important moment, maybe the most important moment of your life, and just the room opens and you're right there at the edge, and it's like that moment of, oh my God, this is it, and that little fear catches up, of which gets a little bit disbalanced, a little bit like adrenaline, gives you adrenaline rush. How do you stay focused in those times? How do you breathe and walk into that? How?
It is really hard, especially because I'm a very emotional person, and not only emotional as I can be very loud. No, I'm very emotional because I can cry sometimes, because happiness can overwhelm me. Yeah, so in this case, I'm just trying to breathe and to understand what's my main aim. And this main aim, this goal, inspires me and helps me to stay focused. And also maybe some kind of meditation, like 10 minutes before the meeting or before something else, that can help me to stay focused. Yeah, I know that meditation, it's not about sitting and just trying to connect. So it's about closing your eyes and understanding what I'm going to receive, what this experience can give me. And when you focus on your main goal, all emotions can, I think that you can lower your stress.
They pass by and you just
pass by. Yeah.
Okay, that's a nice answer. Yeah, I think we come to the conclusion of this meeting.
It was very interesting. I never use meditation. I will try today. Thank you very much, Darina, that you share your experience. Because if you negotiate in global scale, you grow very fast, because if you just negotiate with people from your country, from your native city, you never grow quickly like you. That is why we invited you to our conversation in our MBA Society. Thank you very much, and we wish you health in this coronavirus time and success your company.
Yeah, it was great.
And good luck.
Yeah,
Very,
thank you so
very,
much.
very grateful to see you here. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
It
pleasure
was
is
a
mine.
pleasure.
Yeah.